Good morning, everybody. Here I am in the outside with this beautiful, beautiful sunshine and my jasmine flowers that are actually finally blooming, and the perfume now is just amazing. Look at the sky. It rained for 2 days straight, but now it's wonderful, and so I decided to film a little bit on the outside and to share with you the beauties in the garden. Probably this is not the greatest idea because I literally cannot see anything, but I really wanted to stay outside in the sun. It's actually Tuesday today and I'm staying at home for today in smart working, and I just decided to take 10 minutes, since it's so pretty outside, to film a haul. And you may ask yourself why I'm filming a haul if I'm on a book buying ban. Well, I actually managed to outsmart my own rules, because being an INTJ is like that. You kind of try to unsmart yourself all of the time. And I actually was able to finally visit on Saturday my mother's home. So I was there, I finally had lunch with them. We were free to go and visit our more close relatives, and so that was amazing. I've not seen her for like 2 months, which is the longest I've not seen her since I remember, kinda. And I was so happy, and I took the opportunity to actually get myself some books from my bookshelf there to my bookshelf here. I was planning to do maybe 10 books because I wanted something new for summer. But of course I wasn't able to control myself, and so now I have a bag of books here, but I want to share them with you and tell you why I decided to go with this one specifically. So, the very first book that I have here is one that I've not read yet, and it's so shameful, and it's The Legend of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin, I believe. And this is the full collection, I believe, of all of the books in this huge one volume, and I own it for I don't know, for probably more than 10 years at this point, and I really need to read it. I'm actually kind of attached to this edition because it was one of the first gifts that my mother's husband gifted to me. Oh, thank you, Clouds. And so I really want to read this one in the future. It's a well-loved fantasy. I believe that it's a huge classic of the genre, so I really need to get to this one sooner or later. Next is a book that I desperately wanted to get finally, and it's the first one in the Cushil's trilogy, the Cushil's Dart. I believe this one is in English, or Il Dardo e la Rosa in Italian, by Jacqueline Carey, not sure. And I love this book. It's one of my favorite books of all time. It's a fantasy, an adult fantasy with a lot of sexual explicit scenes. That's the reason why I tell you that it's adult, and I really want to read it because the last time I read it I was a teenage girl, so now I want to read it and see if I still can love it as much as I did back then, and I really hope that I will. So this will be a reread, but I really wanted to own it here in my home. Here I have two more rereads actually, and the first one is by Justine Gardner, and it's Il Mondo di Sofia, and this is kinda a unique book that I really loved during my high school years. This was a book that actually a philosophy teacher suggested us. Birds, cars, everything today outside. Well, okay. And I remember loving this book. It has a lot of philosophy in it. It's actually a discovery of philosophy by a little girl, from what I remember, called Sophia. And I really want to reread it because it used to be a favorite of mine, and I really want to give it one more shot to see if I still love it so much. As you may see, I was on a major reread kick because here I have something more, and it's the first book in Philip Pullman's series, Northern Lights, I believe, or These Dark Materials in English, and it's Severnaya Сияние in Russian. This is my old Russian edition. I so want to reread this whole series as an adult. I miss it, I loved it, so I really want to reread it. This is actually a book that I reread kinda at least 3 times, I believe, this first one, but the second only 2 times, and the third never. So I really want to reread the whole series. Next is a huge book, and it's a beloved one because it's a collection of the complete novels by Jane Austen. This is a book that I bought in Riga some years ago at this point, and I've not read it yet, and I really want to, but as you may see, this is a book that you cannot actually take with you when you're like commuting or stuff like that, so I really want to give it a chance maybe this summer and read the novels that I miss and to read the ones that I love. So it will be a first in English too, because I have to admit that I read them only in Italian, so in English it will be a new experience, and I hope that I will love them because it's a beautiful edition and I adore it and I can't wait to read it. And now we're actually getting to books that I never read, and I went on a major kick buying books getting books from my home that I wanted to read some years ago, and I was so hyped, but I never got to them, and they are well loved, well known. For example, A Court of Thorns and Roses, and this is a gift that I received from a friend of mine for my birthday, and I have a complicated relationship with Sarah J. Maas. I've not enjoyed Throne of Glass, so I hope that this one will be better, but then this is a trilogy, so maybe it will be shorter and I won't have that many issues with it, so finger crossed. Then, on Teams of Roses, I have Roses by Rose Mannering, who is actually a YouTuber that I follow here on BookTube, and this is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. So I'm really curious to see what I think about this one. This is the first in a trilogy. I know that there is a second one out. I don't know if the third one is already out, but I really want to give a chance to it and see if I will enjoy it. I love this cover. It's so beautiful and so aesthetic. So these are my 2 rose-themed books. And again, here we are with 2 more very popular ones, very known and loved or less loved, kind of polarizing. I have Children of Blood and Bone, and this one was huge on BookTube. I bought it on the year in which it was released, I believe, but I've never read it. This sounds like a summary read for me, I don't know why, so maybe I will go with this one. And I know that the second book was kind of less well received by someone, but I still want to give it a chance and see what I think about it. And then, with the theme of very well loved books, I have A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, and I've never read anything by V.E. Schwab, like not a full book, so this actually can be a first. It's her YA series trilogy, this one. Yes, it's a trilogy for now, so I really hope to enjoy it and to be so involved in the characters as many of you are. And let me get to the next books. This is a very foily one, and again, the one that was around BookTube for ages right now, even if it's the perception of it's kind of mixed, and it's starting to rain again, so I have to actually be quick, and it's Ink by Alice Broadway. And this one I got because I plan to read this summer for a readathon, and you will know everything very soon. Then I have a children's book that's well loved, and I've never read it, and I've not watched the movie. It's A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine Langle, I'm not sure, and it's the first one in a series of 5 books, I believe. And then I have The Little White Horse. That's actually the book that inspired the movie Moonacre that I really enjoy, so I really want to read the book. And it's a short one, so I hope that I will enjoy it. And then I have some huge classics. So the first one I'm very glad to reread because it's a collection of fairy tales by Hans Christian Andersen. I have this beautiful Russian edition. I wanted to read them in Russian because I read them in Russian, and I read them in Russian when I was a little girl, so I really want to reread it. I don't think that it's the full collection, but still, I really want to reread these fairy tales and to go back to them. And the one about which I'm kind of ashamed and kind of glad that I will finally read is this one. Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin. This is Yevgeny Onegin, or Eugene Onegin, I believe, in English. This is a huge Russian classic, and I've never read it, and I'm so ashamed, but I decided that this is the year in which I will try and read it. So I have this one. And the last book that I got just to be read normally, and I will explain you later why, is The Sisters of Versailles by Sally Christie. And again, I hope that's a huge, humongous truck that just passed my home. This is again a book that I hope that I will read this summer for a readathon, and it's set in Versailles and it's about court life, so it's just up my alley. And the book that I got, which is not kind of to be read normally, is something that I bought a bunch of time ago and I don't know why, but I have it and I never used it, and it's Start Where You Are, and it's one of those books, like it's a journal for self-exploration, so it has like these parts that are kind of with drawings and quotes, and then there is a blank page on which you're supposed to answer and write your thoughts. So I hope to read it maybe during this summer, because it will be kind of a unique summer for all of us because of self-quarantine and so on. So I hope that I will be in the right state of mind to go through it. And then I have two very short things. They are actually like fairy tales from Japan and fairy tales from Provence that my friend bought me last year, and I've not read them yet, so I will give them a chance. And these are all of the books that I have. So there were 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 books. I was supposed to take 10. Yeah, that's the reason why I am on a book buying then, because I don't know how to control myself when I'm buying books, apparently. Oh yeah, and I'm completely without any makeup and just wearing my homewear because I'm smart working. Come on, do we still need to state it? No, we don't care. So this was my strange vlogish kind of book haul, and now I really need to go inside because apparently it's starting to rain again. So it was a pleasure, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye! Ciao!